The little spinny circle. What's that?
Have you ever been on TV when they do the 3?
That was the joke, right? That was a joke. But this is a professional outfit here. We're keeping this stuff real. So we're live. We're recording all this. So welcome back to another edition of Money Moves. Wendy, it's always great to see you again today. And I'm going to be honest. I'm kind of drawing a little blank. We've had a couple people reach out and say, "Hey, can you talk about this or that?" And I love that. So if you've got a topic you want to hear about as a viewer, reach out to us. Let us know. We'll do a show for you. But Wendy, I'm going to put it over to you. What's been something, I don't know, maybe that's come up in the last week or so, or that you've kind of thought about, or when it comes to making money, growing money, and being the master of your money? What are some things that have popped up for you?
Yeah, I think one thing, I was thinking back to kind of my financial journey, and I've talked to a lot of financial planners in the past, people that sell certain products, and I got confused once because my insurance guy, and then I'm like, are you a financial guy or an insurance guy? There's all kinds of different things out there. And then when I started talking to you about money, it was very different. Like, I finally clicked. I understood what things meant. And so I guess a question would be, how do you find that person, what mentor, coach, whatever you want to call it, that financial person in your life that you can reach out to? How do you pick somebody to teach you what to do with
or
money?
Even, do you need somebody, or should you have somebody? Okay. Yeah, I love that. So we're going to go with that. So we're going to go with, how do you pick that person to work with on your money? And do you need one? So we'll get started here in just a few minutes, folks. Actually, just a few seconds, not a few minutes. Do us a favor, click that subscribe button and share with a couple people that, hey, they could probably use some help with money as well. We'll come back and we'll talk about how do you pick that person to work with and what you should be looking for, because there are some factors you need to think about. We'll get started in just a few seconds. And we're back. We got to come up for 2023. We got to come up with something even better. Maybe have, I don't know. We'll figure something out. But anyway, I love that intro.
Creative people.
I know, right? So you bring up a good question, though. And a lot of people, most people out there, I don't think even have a, whether it's a financial planner, a financial coach, a financial advisor, what the hell does all that mean? You hear a lot of different terms out there. You hear a lot of marketing too. What do they do? Are they licensed in this? Are they licensed in that? Are they captive, non-captive? There's a lot of things to think about. So, kind of just off the top of my head, looking at, your experience. And obviously I went through the same thing back in the day before I started doing this professionally. And I thought the process was horrible. It was pretty much everybody pitching the same thing, talking way over my head. I had no freaking clue what they were talking about. And I'm like, well, okay, I hope it works out. And then it didn't. And that's when somebody got their butt fired. And I switched my money over to, the company I actually started my company with, partnered with. And you look at that and there's a lot of things you consider. So number one, what do you think the number one thing should be? Just speaking to you, as an individual out there in the world, what do you think the number one thing should be?
Now, it's very different than what it used to be. Now,
okay.
I need to have somebody that makes things simple for me to understand.
Yeah.
Like that's important. The educational piece.
Yeah, the educational piece. I would start even a little prior to that is I want to work with somebody that I like. Right.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, if they come off as a pompous person, I'll just say that, or, they're not really, they're talking at you and not to you. That's a problem. Because at the end of the day, folks, your financial person, they work for you. Yeah. You're their boss. So know that, right? Know that. Now, they may not want to work with you and you may not want to work with them, and that's okay. But I want to work with somebody who's I like, and like you said, is gonna speak to me and explain things to me, not just talk at me.
Right.
And like I'm a child, and it's like, oh, let me just do this, and you just sit there and whatever.
Like I want it to feel like a partnership.
Thank you. Yeah. And that goes to the kind of the other piece of that I like them thing is I want to feel like they're vested in my success.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you right now, most financial planners out there are not. They say they are, but again, don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. Don't listen to what they say, watch what they do. A lot of you out there have 401ks right now, or IRAs, or investment accounts. They probably lost some money here in the last few weeks. We had a big hit early on in the year. Money went down, and then it went up a little bit, and now we're kind of, this last week we were back down again. Have you heard from your financial person? Has the company with your 401k, have they reached out to you and said, hey, we want to give you some guidance on what you can do to minimize this negative market impact? I'm going to bet the answer is no.
Yeah.
Okay. And a lot of you have old 401ks out there from jobs you left, 2, 5, 10 years ago. I almost guarantee you haven't heard from them. Maybe you have, and that's the rare exception. But does that mean that they're really vested in your success?
Mm-hmm.
No. I mean, no. This is interactive.
Money, you're good. We're all good.
No. So that's really the one thing is I want to make sure that somebody's lined up with me, and that I feel like I can actually talk to them and be vulnerable with them. And that's one of the things. I work with a number of clients that I've had crying on the phone, and not because of bad things financially. It's because they've opened up, and I've made them feel comfortable to share. Hey, this is what's really going on, right? And yeah, exactly. This is what's really going on, and I need help getting there. And that's I always tell my clients, I'm not here to judge you or whatever. I'm here to help you get to your goals. And so let's talk about this stuff. And I'll even share some of my mishaps financially and stuff, because we've all been there. And so you shouldn't feel bad about it. That's why you go to a doctor, because they don't feel good. That's why you go to a financial person, because your finances aren't in order, right? And honestly, I would say 99% of the people out there need some kind of financial coach. Okay, whatever their title is, they need somebody to do it. And because I don't care if you're losing weight, trying to get better in business, trying to get better at a sport, trying to get better financially, you're always going to do better with a coach. Why? Because a coach's job is to teach you the hacks, that not necessarily the shortcuts, but the way to get there faster with what you've got, right? So rather than try to go into Google and try to figure it out, or worse yet, I've seen this so many times. I actually did this with my first job. Guy I worked with seemed kind of smart, right? Hey, what are you doing on your 401k? Well, I'm doing this, that, and the other. Oh, yeah. Okay. Well, that sounds good. And that's and I'm blown away when I think back on that. So number one, work with somebody that you like, right? Number two is, work with somebody who's actually going to teach you this stuff and is vested in your success beyond just the words, but in their actions. Are they looking out for you? Are they reaching out to you? Things like that. Those are kind of my top two things. What else do you think?
Well, and to that point, like, I just want to say too, like, I felt like I remember this moment, and I've talked about this before, but it was you and my IRS attorney who were like, Wendy, you don't have to know everything. Like, that's why you have us, right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
So, like, and with coaching and in my other business where I'm coaching entrepreneurs on how to build their business on social media, like, the reason you want to bring me in is because you don't have to know everything, right? And that's why I started working with you, because it's like, okay, there's a weight taken off my shoulders. Like, I don't have to know all this stuff, right? That's why you have a team. That's why you have a coach. That's why you have people that you lean on that can be the experts, because we can't know everything about everything, right?
No, exactly. And that, especially if you're running a business or trying to run a successful home, you don't need to be the expert in everything. Bring in those experts, right? Maybe you have somebody come and mow your yard. Why wouldn't you have somebody come and help you with your finances too, right? It always cracks me up. So many people insure their iPhone or whatever for, it's $1,000 or whatever, but they don't ever have, insurance on their lives or whatever. And it's like, it's craziness. But, looking at having that coach, having that somebody that you can work with and thing, it's critical, right? To have success, because you're only going to be working for so many years, hopefully. Right. And you want to be prepared not only for retirement, but building wealth throughout your life that you can access and things like that. So that's good. That's good info.
Another thing I think is, I've only learned about this since working with you. I didn't realize, like, when the guy from, I don't know, XYZ company, I won't name any specific companies, comes and wants to sell their product, right? And then, Or like I will say State Farm, like my State Farm guy who's great for my home and auto. And then he starts talking to me about financial stuff. Well, they're what we call captive, right? And a lot of companies are. I didn't understand the difference in that.
Yeah.
And so one thing, and you can kind of explain what that means, but one thing that now I find very important is non-captive. Like I don't have to sell one certain thing to you. I actually get to like bring you the actual solution that will work for you because I have a lot to choose from.
Yeah. Well, and taking that a step further, it's not even just the non-captive. It's also, are they looking at your financial goals holistically? Yeah. Okay. To kind of even broaden that a little bit. So there's two sides to that coin. You know, a lot of advisors, you know, and I'm not going to name names, but, you know, they've got one lane that they stay in. I'm going to show you how to take the money you have and grow it. Yeah. That's great. You know, but that's one component. Mm-hmm. I wanted to build a company that focused on 6 different areas. What's your spending plan? Are we allocating money? Are you paying yourself first? Do you have an emergency or rainy day fund in case something happens, right? How do we get to that? Are you protecting the empire that you're building? You know, you protect your phone, you want to protect your empire too, right? You know, the growth, obviously. And then you look at if you've got debt, things like that. Why do we, you know, keep carrying that? Let's focus on getting that so you can put that money in your wealth rather than the banks. And then lastly is how do I pass that on to the next generation? Most companies out there, they focus on the one thing. And going back to the, you know, the captive aspect, looking at, and I'll give you a quick analogy, everybody. It's like walking in to buy a pair of running shoes. You walk into a Nike shoe store versus walking into a Foot Locker. If you walk into a Nike shoe store, that person behind the counter has to sell you that Nike's the best for you, whether it actually is or not. Nike's a good shoe, don't get me wrong, but it may not be the best one for you in your situation. You walk into a Foot Locker, they've got everything on the counter and they've got all different budget levels. Okay. They don't care what brand you buy. They still want to help you because they, you know, they've got a family to feed just like the Nike person too, but they don't care what brand you end up with because they got everything. So they're coming at it from a completely different perspective. They're trying to help you solve your problem. So you tell all your friends about it. And that's the company that we built, right? That I wanted to make sure that that was our focus, not I got to sell those Nikes. Mm-hmm. Nobody wants to be sold, but so many companies out there are like that. And you can, you know, if you talk to an advisor or something like that. The other thing too is looking at, are you trying to solve your problem with a fast food company? Okay. And what I mean by that, and I just thought about this yesterday, you know, I'll admit it. I love the Golden Arches. We all know who I'm talking about, right? I don't love all their food. There are only 2 things I like. They're the little cheeseburgers. I don't know what they do, but they're good. Right. You know, but I'm not going to eat every meal there. Right. Okay. They have food. I'm not going to go there and get every meal. Right. They have one thing they focus on, you know, fast food, burgers, right? They got some chicken, they got fries, and they got soda. That's it. Okay. But yet they're successful. A lot of people know them, this and the other. There are other companies out there and you see them, they have locations in every little small town and everywhere else. And that's their approach to financial planning, fast food. This is what we got. This is what we're going to put you in. And we're going to tell you, oh, this is the best and this, that, and the other. And the other thing too, is when you're looking at somebody who, you know, okay, is this what they do full time? You know, I've got a great bank. I love my bank. I have my checking and my savings accounts there. I'm not going to do my investments with my bank, right? Maybe you do, that's fine for you. But again, you want to look at all these different decisions, right? And ask yourself, are they serving me and serving my family holistically? Are they in this with me? Are they working with me? Are they educating me? Or are they just trying to sell me something? And, you know, one of the big things that I've heard, and this actually just came up last week, you know, we built our company in specialty. So the company that I work with, that I've built, I've come to the conclusion that nobody can know everything. It's that jack of all trades, master of none kind of thing, right? And so what we've done is we've formed specialty groups. So we've got a group that handles life insurance. We've got a group that handles protected asset classes. We've got a group that handles business information. We've got a group that handles securities information, you know, and things like that. And, you know, a client came back and, you know, it was talking about, you know, hey, somebody mentioned for me, their old advisor, are they a fiduciary? And I'm like, okay, do you actually know what that means? And maybe you guys have heard that out there. Oh, they have to be a fiduciary. Here's what a fiduciary is. Okay. It's somebody with a series license. And I believe it's a 63. Okay. Maybe 65. I don't know. I get those two confused all the time. That's it. That's all it means. And well, they're supposed to handle handle your money in your best interest. Every freaking financial coach and advisor is going to do that, folks. Okay. Not every, there may be some slime balls out there, right?
Supposed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
But what's happened is the fast food financial advisors out there have turned this into a marketing scheme.
Mhm.
Oh, this is your brand of approval, right? It's a
Right.
joke. But we've got fiduciaries on our team. Those are
Yeah.
the specialties on the security side. So when we have those needs come up, again, looking at it holistically, not somebody that works at, a bank or something like that, or a fast food financial company that's like got their long trench coat on going, hey, I got watches over here. I got this over here. What do you need? Work with somebody that's actually going to sit down and explain things to you. And I went off on a tangent there a little bit because it frustrates me so much because that's a Nike shoe store trying to sell you something. And so they're trying to scare you into not taking action with somebody else. And here's the other question. If you do go to your advisor, or statement, I guess, not a question. If you go to your advisor and all of a sudden you're thinking about moving your money, because I tell you what, when I fired my guy originally and shifted over to the company I work with now, man, all of a sudden he was bringing out all kinds of things that I should be looking at with him.
Yep.
I'm like, where the hell have you been the last 5 years when my money's been struggling? You've been crickets. I haven't heard from you. Now all of a sudden I'm leaving, and now all of a sudden you want to help me? That's not somebody I want to work with. They clearly don't have their vested, my family's vested interest in their mind. Okay.
Yeah. And I think that, like, I want to kind of add to that. Like,
Yeah.
it drives me crazy right now. One, the fiduciary thing. Like, I get it. Okay. I get when somebody says that. I think Tony Robbins' book, he mentions that. And so I think everybody like runs with it. Right. But to reiterate, like, I love that I don't have the restrictions that a fiduciary does. Right. But we have someone on our team that does it. So if we need that,
we want to make sure that they're handled. Right.
But then the other thing is, oh my gosh, I just lost my train of thought because my dog is trying to chew something under the table.
Well, while you're thinking of that, so one thing I will say is we've all heard of Bernie Madoff. And for you younger folks out there, you Gen Zs, if you haven't heard of him, Google Bernie Madoff. He was a big investor out of New York, and he was a fiduciary and, had the licenses and stuff like that. But he ran off with billions of people's money, right? And so that's one of the things that, it's a piece of paper that says, hey, I've got this degree, I've got my TV VCR repair. And don't get me wrong, I'm not trying to belittle. It's just like CPAs and CFPs and things like that. Those are all credentials and things like that. But again, it's not a automatic protection. You want to make sure the person you're working with has your best interest at heart and knows what the hell they're talking about. Okay. And are they trying to be a jack of all trades? And if they are, that's kind of a red flag, which is why we have it in different compartments, right? That's what we do in our company. And I'm not saying one's right and one's wrong, but I'm just saying, if I need my car worked on, I'm going to go to a mechanic. If I need an oil change, I'm going to go to an oil lube place, but they're both cars. You know what I mean? So go ahead. Did you think of it?
Yeah. Is like when people have one person that they've gone to who, and they like never get any outside perspective and are so pigeonholed into one idea and one concept. And I just want to say, like, what I've learned is that there's a lot you can do for building your financial future. There are a lot of options. And when someone says that one thing is a horrible idea, they probably only heard that from one person. Like, we have certain products that we work with, certain strategies we work with that, I had a guy the other day be like, no, that's crap. But then I heard him start talking about it. Well, yeah, what you saw was crap because the person that put it together didn't know what they were doing. Right. But like, it doesn't mean that the product is crap across the board. Or, we've talked about this before, but you have the gurus who are like, don't, put your money in these things and don't put your money in those things. So what I would say is I want to talk to somebody who's going to give me all like a good look at what all of it means.
Yeah.
And a realistic, and not be afraid, right? Like right now, I don't make money if you put your money in a money market account, but I'm not going to be afraid to say that could be an option for you. Right? Because
and that goes back to the holistic planning, right? And that's why you want to work with a group that offers everything. Literally, our company offers every product out there. Okay. Securities, Roth, whatever. We offer all of the above. Active money management, passive money management, all of the above. Insurances, whatever flavor you want. And we look at the planning aspect from a holistic big picture approach. But like you said earlier, it goes back to it's the education piece. You're the one making the educated decision. You're getting all of the facts about all the different products and all the pros and cons of all the different products, and you fit the one that's right for you. There is no silver bullet out there. And if you've got somebody that this is all they do and they're jamming it down everybody's throat, That's a problem. Okay, that's a problem. You could do okay, but you could waste that time, those years, and be so much further ahead down the road.
Yeah.
So we're kind of going a little over today. I don't want to go too far into this, but just to kind of recap, first of all, when you're picking somebody to work with, understand you probably will do better with a financial coach, advisor, planner, whatever you want to call it, right? So find somebody you like that works with you. You don't have to work with somebody you don't like. Find somebody that's going to educate you and work with you holistically, right? Not just on one area. And if they start throwing out, well, if you have X amount, I can't work with you or whatever, I need to farm you over to somebody else. That tells you right there they don't care about you. They care about your money, right? Find somebody that's non-captive, that offers a wide range of solutions. Okay, and they're out there. We do it, and we're not the only ones, right? Okay. So find somebody that offers a wide range of solutions, and find somebody, and work with a company that's gonna work with you long term, give you that education and things like that. And not, if they start crapping on any one idea, that's your decision, not theirs, right? And the fiduciary piece, understand that is a fiduciary technically, yes, I've got my securities license, I'm a fiduciary, but I still do other stuff. So do I take my fiduciary hat off on that or whatever? All it means is they've got your best interest. And if they're working with you doing all those other things, whether they've got the fiduciary or not talking about just us, there are others out there. They're probably good people, and they're going to put your best interest first. So don't be scared by that. Yeah. But if you do have some questions or like that, or want to take a look, and even a second look, right? Give us a call, let us know, reach out to us, follow us. We're constantly putting out information. You can catch all of our back episodes of Black Swan Money or at blackswanmoney.com, right? Click that little subscribe button, get notified every Tuesday. We do these at 10 a.m. But again, watch this stuff, learn it, subscribe and share. Okay, help your friends out too. So Wendy, as always, it was great to see you. See you back next Tuesday. Money moves, tell your friends all about it. And also, if you're a small business owner, on September 29th, we're actually doing a special event in regards to ERC, understanding it and how you can actually get some of your tax dollars back. So type in ERC down below. We'll reach out to you and let you know the information on that to get registered. September 29th. It's a virtual event, so you can join from anywhere. And that's it. Have a great week, everybody. Bye-bye.